Excited to be here, especially with some of my new guests. I know you know Omar really well from Zoom Party. I've been on it. My grandson's been on it. Was on other shows that Omar has, which is Who Is That Person? I don't know if I phrased it exactly right. I've got Kelly coming on. She's going to be getting her video. And I also have a special guest, Zana Kenjar, today. I had an opportunity to speak to Zana many times, fascinated by Xana's experience and, more importantly, her future direction. So, with that said, I'll start with Omar because Omar's got a lot of experience and we can all kind of lead off of it. So, Omar, why don't you kind of share a little bit of an update since you've been here last, what's going on, and possibly first thoughts on collaboration.
Sounds good. Appreciate you, Don, for allowing me to be on the program again. I think last time I was here in December, and it's always a pleasure to be with you, both of you guys, wonderful uh, guests on this show, of course. And the show that I do is Do You Really Know? And Luke Kelly's here. Awesome. Both of us are in Arizona, so that's a competition here, I think. But basically, I have been working nonstop, 40 hours, also tutoring as well. Have a couple of SAT students right now that I'm 3 or 4 in a row in a day, and also doing my Zumberty program with the couples pretty soon. It's going to be live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and collaboration. Right, collaboration. That's what we you do every day here. We are collaborating together, meeting new people from all over the world with our ideas. We're sharing our ideas. We are collaborating with our thoughts of what we do, what we like, and that's a great thing here. I mean, I've met so many people who are wonderful, and those are my thoughts for collaboration.
Well, that's great, Omar. It's always a pleasure to have you. I know you're always a value add to the show, so it's nice to be able to reconnect. And with that, I'll turn it over to Xana, and Xana, possibly share a little bit of your story for context and a kind of little experience, what you're into, what you hope to continue to build with, and your first thoughts on collaboration. So, Xana, welcome.
Thank you so much, Don, for having me. Hi, Omar. It's always a pleasure to see you. So, I'm Zana Kanyar. I'm independent leadership consultant, grief specialist, and also a writer um, for a blog for a love of writers. I'm originally from Macedonia. A little bit about myself. Originally from Macedonia. I'm a former immigrant and have been in the United States for about over 30 years. I came at age of 16. So I went through the educational process and I have a degree in management science. I'm very passionate about leadership development and supporting caregivers of cancer patients. So I help managers within organization develop and lead with positive mindset. I'm equipping them with essential leadership skills to thrive in their roles and also advance in their careers. So, and my methods is interactive workshops, on-site consultation and assessments, and keynote speeches on positive mindset and leadership. So whether it's the leadership skills or supporting a cancer patient, I'm always there to make things easier for other people and taking them through the challenges and with a smile, no matter what happens through their day. So I also am an author of a #1 international bestseller, Becoming a Legacy Leader, a 10-step manager's guide to unlocking limitless opportunity. And so I take managers to become great leaders, not just great leaders. In the book talks about becoming a legacy leader, something you're remembered in this lifetime and after you pass. So I also build legacies. In addition, I also wrote about my experience as a caregiver in search for the miraculous cure. And this provides support and guidance for those that facing like challenges with their families during cancers and providing them with cancer support. In addition of that, I also helped my 7-year-old last year publish his children's book, Sammy the Singing Carrot. So I've been busy this couple of years. So I really want to thank you for having me, Don, here, and special thanks to Omar and Kelly is coming too. And I'm here to answer any question about leadership or caregiving too. And for collaboration, I always collaborate. I also have LinkedIn audio event as well. And collaboration means everything to me. Building a relationship is so important. And that's how we thrive in business or in our personal lives.
Oh, that's so cool. And it's so great to introduce you to our audience today and our future audience that will continue to watch the show after it's posted. And we'll get to help people we may never get to meet or know, but know the message and the value that we bring continues on and has that ripple effect. I want to introduce Kerry. Kerry's here almost every day. He's our resident jokester. We've got Kelly joining here also. I know she's working on her phone now. We have to collaborate and listen. Don with a brand new edition with Omar and his other guest. And then here's one. Why did the Canary join the detective agency that's to solve tweet crimes? You know, Kerry always has something positive and interesting to say. And I think that's the key to collaboration is inclusion, you know, celebrating diversity and different opinions and different viewpoints, especially when they're communicated in a very positive, uplifting way. There's enough challenges out there and antagonisms and things like that that, you know, we try to stay on the upbeat here. And, you know, sharing people's stories can be so empowering to so many people because a lot of people feel alone. They feel they're the only ones dealing with whatever they're dealing with. And when they can reach out and share their true voice, they find out how wrong they really are, how there's more and more people. And I think that's the key to collaboration is finding like-minded people who are willing to learn and share together. And I've learned that, you know, I've formed a collaboration group with about 7 people who do shows here every other Thursday. And we do a Zoom that really just helps us. What did you learn this week? What did you do? What can we all benefit from? And, you know, in a sense, it's kind of like caregiving in a little bit more broader sense is looking after each other, supporting each other. And, you know, when you're not alone, you do gain more confidence and, you know, optimism going forward because there should always be hope. And with that, Omar, what do you do to help empower others?
Yeah, absolutely. What I do, I mean, I like to connect with people, talk to them, make sure that they are healthy and happy, right? So all these audio events that happen, they're great that they happen because you can meet new people, try to help them out. Like there was a lady yesterday looking for a job, you know, I tried to reach out to her, or other people who have issues with they need with health issues. Just reach out to them and try to talk to them and see what you can do. You know, Kerry is one example, right? He reached out to me months ago, and I tried to help him in finding a job. And I messaged him yesterday to see did he find a job, how's it going in that field, and he's still working on it. So I always try to touch with people to see what they're doing, how they're doing, are they finding a job, did they need any support, and that's the kind of person I am. And if you want to reach to me, I have connections from the other day. I found a post of my 5th grade teacher from like 12 years ago. I went to meet him and see him. I hope he's doing okay. And you know, lots such. But I always get in touch with these wonderful people. And I remember he called me Omar the Magnificent when I was in 5th grade. And it was something like that they have a connection. Mr. Thompson. So I like that teacher. One of my favorite. He even invited the entire class to his home for food. It was like this was 96. I was in 5th grade. But like 12 years ago, I went to visit him in the classroom. So he was still teaching. So it's amazing. So.
Well, that's terrific. And have a few other people who have come on the show as in the audience. Jason Gerardo is here. Jason's just a wonderful gentleman, and he does a lot of coaching and has been on the show every other Wednesday with Dave Snell, who's another interesting and value-added personality. And they're both involved, because they're former veterans, in helping veterans transition from the military to civilian life and deal with a lot of the challenges, especially mental health. And there's so much opportunity to help so many if you pick a niche and you stick with it and focus on it. Another person who's here and who is here every day is Dennis. His comment isn't showing, but he says, agree, collaboration works. Thanks for sharing your wisdom. And, Jason says hello. And with that said, I'll switch it over to Xana. And how do you see empowering and collaborating with people expanding going forward?
It's a great question. And I'll tell you, from last year to this year, I've been in a group, authors group, that we were all writing our books. So the way we were collaborating, encourage each other, I displayed a lot of empathy and compassion, because people can get stuck. And then they need to be reminded, it's okay to get stuck, and that does not define them. So encourage them, display affection towards them. And, I see the vision of other people if I hang out for a while with them before they do. I see what they're capable of. I always remind them, or I'll call them after the meeting and say, hey, you know what? It's okay to be in that spot. So displaying empathy is the greatest skill somebody can have, and compassion for others. And then I encourage self-care. It depends on where they are. Self-care is so important, because there's a lot of friends that I have in the corporate industry, and they just run. Just the other night, I met with one of my friends that I was partners with, and I haven't heard from her for a while. So she says, I've been busy, and I said, we need self-care in our lives. So, we had a great evening together. So also educate them, we, with our education and everything that our 8 women did, we are starting our own joy show, because we think that the world needs more joy for women, empowering women. So all that love and care and smiling, just even smiling at someone, I encourage, it's like, hey, it's okay, enjoy your day, because we don't know, we're not promised if we're going to have another day tomorrow. So this is the way I live, and helping them with meditation, affirmations. I author affirmations and I send it to people if I feel they're a little down, or a great video, motivational video that I listen to on YouTube. So
yeah, that's terrific, because it's the little things that make the biggest difference sometimes. And people don't want to be told what to do, but they want to be listened to what they have to say. And I found meeting people where they're at instead of where you think they should be. And there's a saying, no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And that's really the important thing, that there is a helping hand or an open ear or a shoulder somebody can lean on. And that could make the difference. And I know over the last year or so of doing these shows, I've gotten some really heartfelt messages about, because of the show, because of what someone said, it made me want to stick around another day or hang in there. And, it's little steps that create big journeys where too many people bite off more than they can chew. And whatever you do, to your point, as far as self-care, it has to be sustainable. And if it isn't, you're going to burn out. You're not going to be very good for yourself, and you're definitely not going to be in a position to help others. So, you really have to put yourself first when it comes to taking some time out, breathing, relaxing, and really enjoy the little things, because everybody has access to the birds, to the flowers, to the sky, to nature. A good walk really can freshen one's mind. So, there's many tools, and that's where I think getting a coach, getting a mentor, getting somebody that has been there before can kind of navigate through some of the challenges, and knowing that you're not by yourself. And, that's why I think collaboration is so important. You're so much more confident when you're with a group, because you only have to play a small role in the group to support. And the other thing is living vicariously through others, where enjoying other people's success as if it was your own, because you feel like if they're getting success, well, it's just a matter of time that you'll see your success and they'll be there to root you on. So Omar, I know you're a very positive influence on what you do and who you do it with. How have you found live streaming to expand your community?
Oh, yeah, that's a good. I wanted to also come up some of the points that Zana made in terms of self-care. Take care of yourself. That's very important that she mentioned. But basically, yeah, with my show that I do You Really Know, we bring in all these people who are influencers, like Kinga, like Don, Leslie, and we ask them, do you really know these people? Fun questions to get to know them on a fun level, right? Rather than be serious about it, like what do you do for work, or where do you go out? We want to make it fun, so people can relax a bit. A lot of them in the beginning can be tense, but then they open up. And Zana, you've been on the show. Don, you've been on the show as well. Much improved from when you started, Don. You were probably like number 6 on the episode. Now I've gone to like 21 episodes. We did a April Fool's special as well. It was funny. Matt Allen pretended to be me, and it was a fun program. And so that's how it is. Just open up to people, be able to be nice to them. Don't hold grudges. Because life is short, like Zana was saying, and if you hold that, I know we'll all get upset if somebody does something to us, but with experience, you're going to learn it, and then you know why that happened, and there's a reason why that certain person isn't in your life anymore. So definitely.
Well, I think that's so important, is to step out of your comfort zone, try new things, challenge yourself, because, in my experience, you're either learning or earning. Right? And sometimes you have to get better. Other times it's a matter of learning from others. And what you say can motivate somebody or stimulate someone to come up with an idea that they didn't even know was within them. And, as soon as you say something, you're hearing it at the same time everybody else is. And sometimes you surprise yourself what comes through. Here's Dennis. Dennis is just a great guy. Spent 49 years in his heating and air conditioning business, and now in his 50th year is thinking of selling. And, I got to give credit to someone who can be in the same business for 49 years, because you had to reinvent yourself probably 7-8 times in order to stay relevant, in order to stay successful. And it's those who really stick with it. Too many people get affected by the shining object, right? It's, oh, that's pretty cool and that's exciting, or the grass is greener on the other side. But, it's all what you make it, and the more you can enjoy what you have, who you have, count your blessings, realize how lucky you really are. And too many people are competing with other people. Too many people see a bigger house and they say, I should have one, or a bigger car. But, what I learned, and, I ended up becoming more of a minimalist, is the more things you have, the more things have you, right? And do you want to spend time cleaning a big house, washing 3 cars, doing all these things? Or would you rather be with people you care about? And if you look back on life, and most older people will tell you their best experiences were family experiences. They'll never tell you, I made so much money that year, or I got a big bonus. They'll talk about their Thanksgiving dinner, or when they went fishing with their grandkids. And, learning from older people have been there and done that is so important. And I think, that has so much value. So, Zana, we're getting quite a bit of response today, a lot of comments. So, what do you think your next level of achievement will be? And here we have Kelly. Kelly never stops.
Trying. That's awesome.
Yeah, welcome, Kelly. We see your picture almost.
Almost there.
And I can't talk enough about Kelly. She started with me. Actually, we had our anniversary show, January 19th was a year. Since then, she started Awesome Journey with Christy Howard. That's on every Tuesday at 1:11 p.m., which follows Harvey Tuck's show, which is the franchise show, which is at 12:15 Eastern Time. My show is at 11 Eastern Time. And then we have Carl Dakin, who has the funding show, which is at 10 a.m. So, and they're all in the group together. So we have 4 shows that start at 8 and keep going for about 4 hours. And that's been great. And actually, Harvey, and I know Omar's had Harvey on his show, just launched his second show, which is on Thursdays, and it's all about branding of those franchise companies. So Tuesday show is more for franchisees and learning. Thursdays are for franchisors and telling their story. And he is a #1 franchise show now on LinkedIn. He's now got sponsors for his show. He's booked out for 6 months. And it all started by him being an audience enough for me to say, who's this Harvey Tuck, having a collaboration call. And then they did every other Friday for about 3-4 months, and then felt he could take it on his own. And it's just so amazing that over 30 people I can count who never even appeared on a live stream now have their own shows. And whether it's Beverly Glazer, who is every Tuesday here for women's empowerment. I know Leslie Flowers did her first show with me, and Friday she has Think and Grow Rich. Monday she has Mind Over Matter. And that community just continues to expand. So, it's funny how if you give it enough time, things do come full circle. You just don't know the organic or natural way it's going to grow, but you're planting seeds all the time. And you forget how many seeds you plant, but eventually things start sprouting and blossoming and then come back with you and to you. And I think that's so great when you can open the road. Here we have a new person that says, wow, great program.
That's actually me.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a new person because of a new outfit.
That's my other show.
And I think that's really the joy of it is having people having fun, smiling, laughing, enjoying. It's when it gets too serious and people press or too hard, it becomes unnatural. And really it's about the community of the audience and the stage coming together. Dennis says, agree, like Buckminster Fuller said, doing more with less is best. And, why not economize? Why not say a lot in less time? And I always advocate people talking less more often than more less often, because too many people get caught up in, well, I need to explain something, right? So they go to 4 levels down when somebody really got it or is happy with what they had. Omar, all these people, I'm sure you're aware of most of them.
Yep.
It's a great talent pool to choose from because I know everybody's looking for quality guests. So how do you choose your guests?
Yeah, that's a good question. I usually choose them by if they're known on LinkedIn, because most of them are on LinkedIn, or if they have a talent, right? Like, for example, I had a linguistic and a language expert in the Yugoslavian language. I had a talk with him. Both me and Zana are from that region. And so, with the Balkans. And so he came in to explain about language learning and all that. So he was on the show. I had somebody else who was an educator from California, a PhD in child development. So she had her expertise. I brought her on to talk about that. But the Sunday show, Do We Really Know, are mainly people that we know from LinkedIn that you guys know, either Don or Leslie or Kinga and Matt Allen as well. And we just talk to them about fun stuff that they know, getting to really know them, right? Because, like you said, we can't be always serious. We have to laugh. We have to joke. Life is short for that. And we're already stressed. Like the boss comes in, like, oh, you did this mistake or you did this error. It's like, oh no, I don't want to hear that. I want to hear I got a 100% on my assignment, right? It's like that. So it's always good. So that's what I'm all about. So that 30 minutes that I bring on is a lot of fun. People enjoy it. And you don't know what's going to happen. And I always try to change it around. It's always, maybe I'll bring you guys again on it. And we'll see how the next season comes in. I want to bring Carl. So all these people that you guys know, we bring them on. And then I had Zen on there as well. So it's kind of fun. Zen has a question.
No, it's not a question. I just want to add, because you kept telling me, do not prepare. And it was great, though, because people do get nervous and they're like, well, what do I prepare? How many questions? And they make it into this big thing. Oh, yeah. I'm on the show. Meanwhile, you can just be yourself and talk. And it was fun. I've never had so much fun on his show. And then he was asking me things from back home. I don't know how you are with the Yugoslavian language. And I was talking to him. It was just great. I loved your show. And I would love to be on your show again. So yeah. You're very lighthearted and have people very relaxed on your show, which is important.
Yeah, amazing. Well, Don does, he's the master. So without him, we would have not done this. And he's the one who started it. So he's the one who opened the branch. Like, so we can call him like the uncle.
Well, I'll be next. Hey, you know what, Don, you asked me what's next for me, but I think I'm going to have Omar as a mentor in live streaming.
Oh, great. Yeah. That's
yes.
Awesome.
Now I do just the audio in LinkedIn. After my book was launched, I decided, hey, I want to give 2 mentors and go over chapter with chapter, how to develop teams and, how to lead with influence and stuff like that, and diversity and inclusion, which I'm doing diversity and inclusion next one. So quarterly I do live audios. But I like this, seeing each other. It's people in common. I love that more. So maybe that would probably the next one for me. So I can have guests, and that would be great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, I think, what I learned, because I've done now at least 750 of these over 2 years. I had a stretch there where I did 580 in a row, 7 days a week, and never ran out of guests, and had a lot of guests, who were fixtures in a way. I know Melissa Cohen and Leslie Nidick were on Saturdays. I know I've done about 50 shows with Leslie Flowers. Had a wonderful lady, Sarah Dawkins, out in Spain, who did every Sunday. And, had the opportunity to really get to learn and grow together. And even if there wasn't an audience, I always get better just from the panel. And the audience is kind of gravy. But what I really learned is my role is to do as much as I can to bring value to the audience, do as much as I can to promote and support the guest on the show. Because it's how you treat others that people get to realize who you are, not from the people who pat themselves on the back, want to be a big shot. And what I learned about big shots is the definition is a little shot that keeps shooting, right? And I think that's the key to success. And people know that if you're kind to people around you, if you're fair to people around you, that's how you'll be with them. So in a way, you're giving them a preview or an appetizer, and plus they know they're safe. And I think you can have a quality show without building a safe environment where people don't feel judged, They don't feel embarrassed. They don't feel less than what everybody else is. And that's when kindness comes in, where you share the stage and you tell somebody, hey, that was great. Because a lot of people don't know how good they are because no one's really complimenting them in an honest way. You know, most people just are looking for themselves. And, you know, I had a gentleman on who's a legend, Bob Berg. And if you don't know him, he wrote the Go Giver book. And it's among the top 10 best-selling business books ever. And he created a foundation. He's retired, kind of semi-retired down in Florida, came on the show, and his whole philosophy is the more you give, the more you're going to get, right? And you got to start out with giving to kind of like prime the pump, you know, in order to motivate people to say, because people are reciprocal, but most people don't want to go first. And they've got the mentality is, why do something for nothing? Or why do something and not get something for it? And that holds them back because they're really coming from a place of scarcity.
Yeah.
I'm not enough. I don't have enough. I need more. And needy is the last way you want to go out there because it scares people. And when you have the choice of what you have to say, why choose less when you could choose more? Why not be more? And why not, to Xana's point, find those mentors? Because I know all the people we've talked about, and there's so many more, who always have 15 minutes to anyone if they approach them the right way. I know Beverly is like, I'll talk to anybody that's aligned or interested if they want to make an appointment and share 15 minutes with them. And I think the help is out there, but you have to be somewhat respectful in how you reach out. And usually someone who's participating, like the audience, you get to see them. You know, I've had people want to come on the show and I say, why? Just tell me why. And if they've never seen a show, never got to know me, then it's really just, I want to sell something. I want to promote myself. And why introduce somebody to a community who's here almost every day, who knows each other better than the guest? And you have to earn your membership and their trust. And I think that's the key. We've got a gentleman here, Cyrus.
He's a good friend of mine. Yes. Hi, Cyrus. Welcome. He's in the UK. We talked a few times, and he's a very wonderful guy. And he actually said, when I first met him, he's like, you're starting your job. I can tell that you don't like your job, but you like talking on the phone, on the audio like this. And he says, there's something about you that you love doing this and you should do a show. I said, well, how can you tell? You haven't seen me. But we talked on video for a while, and, you know, he's a great guy. Thank you, Cyrus. We'll talk some more. We talk every once in a while. He does his own show as well. And I've seen him in audio events, and he became one of those wonderful friends. I can name at least 10 in the UK who are one of those wonderful people. And Cyrus, definitely a good guy. If you haven't talked to him, Don, definitely do. Cyrus.
No, and I definitely will, because, whenever you add a circle to another circle, both circles get bigger.
Yeah.
And what I learned about LinkedIn, which is kind of interesting, is you could be in the same industry doing the same thing, and only 20% of your connections is the other person's connection. So there's 80% who don't know you, but will know you. And, people who come for Omar or Xana are now made accessible to everybody else. And, their star starts to rise because there is something to consistency and repetition. Too many people hit and miss, they're here and then they show up somewhere else. And, it's like having a restaurant with a sign that says we're open when we're open, versus giving you the hours and making a commitment. And I think that's so important, is you're making a commitment to your true voice. And instead of waiting for a gatekeeper or someone to qualify you, you just decide to give me the microphone, give me the stage, and let me start working at it. So thank you, Cyrus, with the Whisper Boy podcast. You know, people are so inventive and creative in their shows. And why not personalize it? Why not make it everything you are in the culture of it, in the style of it? And the more you can make people laugh, the more people you can make smile, you've made a difference. And if one person out of this show decides today's the day, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, I'm going to actually do something. And I got a show that I can lean into. I mean, for 7 days a week, it was the hour of empower. And
Wow.
it was really, I didn't mean it to be, but everybody was talking about anxiety, depression, PTSD. So we attracted all these wonderful coaches, all these wonderful speakers. And then a few months ago, I decided to get it down to 4 days a week and really only work with the workers. You know, I was getting to the point where I can get hundreds of guests, but are they really relevant and are they going to stick with it? You know, so I'd rather work with less people, more intimately, more intently, and get them to where they're going. So, Xana, it's just a wonderful world of opportunities here. I guess it's all about choosing, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what do you see opening up as far as, you know, your ability to really find your true voice and program?
So I've been looking at a few things. I am very active on all social channels. I love doing reels. So I perfected in a lot of things. I have not really done a lot of lives. So I would like to be more natural, do lives, and, relate the message, help managers actually, create this champion mindset, because in my 25 years, I saw a lot of stressed managers, and I was one of them. And, I wish I had a book that told me at that time, because we were not learning, or there was no classes about personal development. Now, after the pandemic, it's even more, everybody's into that. And how can you change from waking up in the morning and say, hey, you know what, I'm going to smile today, and it's a great day, there's going to be so much opportunities, and I'll be happy. That's what you have to say, and having that positive mindset. So my mission is to create future leaders that will, you know be happy at home, at workplace, and just get their next job that they want. So that's really, really important to me. So I'm gonna roll up my sleeves. I'm doing the quarterly, but I think I gotta find a way to do the audio maybe monthly. But there was a lot of things going on with me with with the new book and everything like that. And maybe a podcast. Maybe I just love talking to people. I would love to have managers come on and say, hey, you know what? Can you help me with this? And they can collaborate, build relationships, and learn from each other. Because mentorship is the biggest thing I've done. And I always had a mentor. I still have a mentor. So for what I want to do, how am I gonna, go and become that great keynote speaker and narrow? Because I have right now, my material is bigger than me. So I'm trying to say, what do I say? How do I say it? Or, do I say this? Or, just streamline it, because I am just starting my independent consulting leadership business. So, and I'm by myself doing amongst other things. But number one is taking care of my family, my son, and then I work around it. Because for 25 years, I just ran, and then I was nervous for the next day because I had presentations. I would work into midnight. So I don't want to do that no more. I want to enjoy life at my age right now and just give. And I love what you said earlier about giving without anything in return. And that's my motto. And we have back home, I don't know if Omar knows, but there's a saying: the hand that gives is better than the one that receives.
Right. Yep.
And I also say it in my book. I'm like, just give. Don't always think of, hey, what am I getting in return? you know,
Yeah.
the blessings are going to follow you and it's going to multiply for everyone. And I'll give you an example of how some people live in scarcity, because I wanted to do a project the same as someone else. And they were like, well, you can't do this project on Facebook because I'm doing that. And, you know, we were partners and I said, well, there's more for everyone to go around. There's so many people in this world we can teach. And I'm like, we can even get together and teach. It's okay. For me, everything is okay. Just people to smile and say, hey, you want this? Take it and go run with it if that's what you want. So I want managers to really get that mindset and say, hey, I can be happy. I'm going to wake up, but they need to change, and they need to change within themselves. So change has to come to themselves. And number one leadership skill that I talk about is how you communicate. For years, because, you know, English is my second or third or fourth language because I know Slavic languages, but English I was always afraid of how it's going to come out. Oh, you know what? But you know, maybe the American person knows better to articulate than me because I probably get nervous or say something wrong. And now I say, you know what? After learning about communicating, you have to communicate from your heart. Is how you communicate with yourself is very important first, then how you communicate with the team and others, and actually the world. How, you know, you got to grab everybody cohesively. So we'll see what comes, you know, what comes my way, but I just embrace it, whatever comes. And I just want to love what I do and help people, as much as people as possible.
Well, I think that's so valuable and important. And you know what I really always come back to is this a good person? You know, anytime I talk about Omar, I say he's a really good person. And that's all you really got to know to start with. Because I won't introduce somebody or promote somebody I know that doesn't have the best intentions or a positive purpose. And everybody's everybody, right? Everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time every day, you know, and, you know, until you have humility, until you've been humbled, you know, you really appreciate things. I always say I learned more on the way down than I ever learned on the way up. Because on the way down, you can't understand what's going on. You know, I used to be here and now I'm here. How could that happen? Well, it happens to everybody somehow, way or time. And it's really appreciating the best of times, but also knowing the worst of times are only temporary.
True.
You're never going to be on top forever, and you never should be on the bottom forever. And I think people, again, appreciate differences. You know, I love accents. You know, because everybody else who just speaks English just speaks English, and there's nothing wrong with it. But I had a wonderful lady, Jenny, who used to be on every Wednesday, and she was from Ireland. And she actually, when she was in Ireland, did voiceovers and still does cartoon voices.
Wow.
Because of her voice. So she found a way of taking advantage of a difference. And, you know, there's a saying on LinkedIn that says niches are riches.
Yeah.
And you got to find your one niche. And, you know, part of even having a content calendar, they usually say is based on one or two anchors. And those anchors are what's the most important thing. And it could be someone's book. Well, for that month, I'm going to design my content around promoting my book. If it's about something else, because you want to give people not only a reason to listen to you because of what you say, but also because they're aligned with it. And so many people don't know the difference between self-promotion and positive promotion because, you know, if you like Omar and you like his show, or you like my show or Leslie's show, there's opportunities you can get closer with those people. You know, that you can say, I didn't know Omar's doing this next week. I'll check it out. Or I didn't know there's a new book. maybe I'll check that out. So why limit the opportunities? Again, if it's a given in a way that's a positive, you know,
Yeah.
I had one gentleman, and you always have to have one or two of everybody to know how happy you are with everybody else. And I spent, time after time, because I kind of anticipated, hey, this is how the show goes. Share who you are, what you do. And he never stopped selling his book.
Oh,
And halfway into the show, even we said enough, enough of your book. And I thought to myself, well, the audience might be 30, 40 people. How many books could you sell here? One? And is it worth taking the time here to sell your one book and then embarrass yourself in front of the other 39 people? And sometimes you're helping people because at the end of the day, I've learned this too, everybody hears your music, not always your words, right? So if you're excited, you're enthusiastic, you're positive, it doesn't matter what you're saying. People get attracted to it. If you're mumbling and whispering and you're saying the most important things, people get turned off. And I think, over time, you find the nuances, the little facets, and you encourage people because when people say, you're okay, I'm okay, it's going to be okay, people say, well, sure, why not? Let's see what the next step is. So, Omar, what do you have to say to all this?
there's a lot to say there. Absolutely. Those are all good points there. And Zana, what you said about you want to mentor or teach managers to become less stressed and all that, that's a good point, because a lot of people are working and they don't know how to manage it. No, there are people who can do that, but I mean, the majority of the people come in, 8 to 5. And so I'm thankful with my job. I'm able to work Monday, Tuesday, early morning, finish by 4 or 5. Wednesday, I'm off. Thursday and Friday, I work later in the day. So we have that flexibility, and that's what we need. Like, so in case you have something in the morning, you can go out, have an appointment, go some shopping, whatever in the mornings, and then and then in the afternoon, on Monday or Tuesday, if you have something else, you can bike or go out do an evening event. So I'm thankful that my job has that opportunity, right, to do that. And yeah, we need that flexibility, and having a company like that I work for that has that ability is always great, right? You can have that flexibility, and a lot of good points that you guys made in there, definitely. So, and we're almost coming to the end, but also I wanted to mention that Xana can also maybe help me with that. I'm thinking about writing a book. She may be help me collaborate, so we can help each other out. I'll help her with the live streaming. She'll help me with that. But then, like you said, like if you help people out, and which I do, you don't need that return, right? Just help them. Like right now, last month we had our Ramadan, which is the fasting month, right? For us, we donated a lot of money for people all over the world of war, whatever is happening, and that's what we need because you're gonna see that return coming back to you in the future. And you don't need that return. You're just helping whoever it is, people here, people over there. And I want to say hello to Alejandra. I'm gonna meet her later. A good friend of mine. She's in the comments there. And she's awesome, right? We'll be meeting her like in an hour or so. New friend, but yeah, that's all we have to do: help the community, help out, and give people, go donate whatever you can, because this is gonna come back to you. Because we're all one community. Matt Allen said, "What if everybody in the world came out to be one community instead of separating? How wonderful would that be, right? We're all agree on one thing. We have our differences, yes, but." Do we like the color green or the color red? That kind of thing. But so, yeah.
Well, you make some really important points, Omar, because, I believe 99% of the people in this world just want to live a good life.
Yeah.
Right? They just want to be with family. They want to be safe. They want to earn their living. They don't want a free handout or anything. And there's too many people have too much time and too much access to media and communication. It gets overwhelming. And at a certain point, you forget why you're even here. You get distracted. You get influenced. So much stress out there that it's really people coming together as people, for people. And the biggest benefit people can have is freedom. And like Omar says, when you can plan your day around what is important to you and not say, well, I have to do this, I hate doing it, but it pays me, you lose a piece of your soul every time you do that. And all of a sudden, at the end of the day, when you put your head on the pillow, you're not very proud of yourself, you know, and it's better to have less and be happy
Yeah.
than have more and never have a chance to be there. So let's get back to some comments. Dennis says, agree to be open-minded, to be open. Cyrus says, what's the name of the town where everyone is constantly fearful of not having enough resources? Scarcity, so true. Cyrus also comes back with some people live with limited ideas in their head. Scarcity sucks. And, you know, you're only as open as you allow yourself to be. There's a saying, if it's going to be, it's up to me, right? And you take responsibility and you take accountability. It's not like, well, I'm waiting for someone to call me, knock on my door, give me something. That may happen, but that's going to happen independently of whatever you do. So instead of waiting for something to happen, why don't you create something? And you know what's amazing is people around you get proud of you. Right? If Xana says, I just launched my live stream, everybody is going to be, well, wow, that's really cool, right? And you're all of a sudden you're going to have fans.
Well, Xana, what's the name of your show going to be called? Have you thought of a name yet? It's too early.
No,
we'll work on that.
I don't know if I want to make it.
How about Xana Live?
Well, we'll talk about it, yeah. But I'm definitely a talker. I would love to have people and bring value and make people happy. Maybe we'll call it Joy Show.
Oh, wow. That's good. I like it.
Yeah, there's never enough joy, that's for sure. Well, you know, that's the cool thing is you can try something and then try something else.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to take your first step to know where your second step is, right? And eventually you pivot. And you say, hey, or you get a revelation or an insight to say, hey, this is what people really want and need, and I can help them. And if you share, then you're part of a collective. It's the person who's the lone wolf, who doesn't need anybody, doesn't want anybody, that ends up by themselves.
Yep.
And who wants to be by yourself? You have too much of you already, right?
Narcissistic, right? Those are the troublemakers. You gotta be careful with those people. And I've had those before, who I tried to deal with and all that, and then you realize who they really are, and then there's reasons why they're not in your life anymore. And so, yeah, you gotta make sure the company you're with, who their company is with, who they're friends with, right? Are they with good company? Are they only with the same people all the time? Or are they open to meeting other people? You know, a lot of the times these people, if you tell them, can I do this? They'll say no. That's a red flag. They don't want you in your life. You know, they want only their circle. And that's not what Don is. Don is open to everybody from all over the world. And that's awesome about him. That's why he's Don, the man. So
well,
awesome.
I appreciate that. And you know, every day everybody starts with a fresh sheet of paper.
It's
right?
true.
You can't live on yesterday, and tomorrow doesn't have to be like yesterday. Your past does not have to define your future. It could be the starting point. Whatever got you here is important, but what takes you to the next level is being able to identify opportunities, take advantage of opportunities. And opportunities, I think, to Xana's point, should be big enough so everybody can ride in that car together. And why compete? Because it's so negative. And you know, the ocean is so big, we're just a drop in it, you know. And to say, hey, that person's crowding me or that person's taking my space, no, because really what makes the difference with people is their style, not so much their substance. You know, I know a lot of my family came from Europe and never had a lot of education, but they were the wisest, smartest people I ever met because they were based on fundamentals. They were based on having a compass that told them right from wrong and taught people honor and respect and integrity. And those are the qualities you can't learn in a school. So having that environment where you honor differences and you respect older people. You know, right now, only 2.2% of the people on LinkedIn are over 55 years old. 82% are between 18 and 34, and that doesn't mean there's too many young people, but there's a huge population of mentors who have so much experience and wisdom that could connect with younger people, share a little bit of the past with a little bit of the future, and have that mix, because you don't want everybody being the same. It gets boring. You want someone to highlight somebody or contrast or compliment with somebody. Here we've got a person from Yorkshire, England. Great being here.
It's a friend of mine. I'm looking at it right now, Martin, actually, but somehow it's not coming in. Martin is a good friend of mine who did the hello from Yorkshire. So that's him, Martin. Hello, Martin. I'm
Well,
looking at it. It's on the site.
Well, that's great. Now, yesterday I had someone else who connected, and 4 or 5 of their friends showed up for the show. So you really expand your reach, you amplify your message. And, you know, I always say the first one's on me, the second one's on them, right? So I can create an opportunity, but, you know, if someone's really good and they're kind and thoughtful, they have another invitation, because that's what you want to build, is the positive people, the people who say, hey, I'm not that far away from Xana or Omar, you know, and maybe I could learn how to get out of my comfort zone, push the envelope a little bit. You know, there's a saying, if you're not working on the edge, you're taking up too much space, you know, and I think by expanding what you do with who you do it with, you make yourself better. I know that after all these shows, I'm a little bit of everybody that's been on the show, because I did take a comment or a quote or an insight and make it mine. I did take some style and incorporate that. So I'm a changed person just from leaning into it like a polishing wheel and allowing them to give me feedback. Sometimes it's like shows that have to go off Broadway to get it right and reach audiences, maybe small ones, before they go to the big time. Here, Cyrus says, pleased to meet you. Martin, great. See, and that's so important, is this is a great time for networking. Anybody who's here has taken the time and effort to be here, and they have something in common. So why not reach out and say, hey, I saw you on Don's show. You look like a great connection. Let's connect, maybe have a conversation, because the real action is after the show, right? Where you can see who was on it and the comments, and thank everybody, show some appreciation. Dennis says, I'm 75, but still immature. You know, you're only as young as you think. And I know young people who are already too old for their better interests. And I know old people who, you know, are just getting started. You know, is life is a joy. It's a new education. Cyrus says your network is your net worth. So true. So coming up on top of the hour, Xana, what's your final takeaway from today?
You talked about a lot about what I truly believe in, you know, kindness, integrity in people. And, you know, we can do, work is work, but, you know, to have all those elements inside of you. And if you still don't, you can still learn them. Empathy, you can learn a lot of things. So I don't say, hey, you know what, you're a bad person and you can't become a good person. People have, you know, till you're alive, you can work on those things. So love what you said, love being on this show. It is amazing people here, and thank you for the audience for being here.
Well, thank you, Xana. I knew you'd be great just from talking with you and getting to know you. And really, there isn't that much difference between a Zoom call and this show, right? Because anytime you have a good Zoom call, it could have been a show that you could have been broadcasting. So thank you so much, Xana. It's been a pleasure. And Omar, your final thoughts?
Sure. Thank you again, Don, for allowing me to be on the show with Xana here. I know we were friends for a while, and both of us, you know, you and Xana are nice people. And so it's always great to collaborate and get some ideas down and have these wonderful audience come in. who knew after 5 months I'll be back on the Don Show, the famous Don Show. But you're awesome, and looking forward. Maybe we'll do another Zoom party event soon. I'm doing the couples one coming up in a couple of weeks. It's going to be live. I have some couple from Canada and as well in America, and I think in India they're trying to get me to do the show as well. And then maybe doing a book as well. I'm thinking about doing a children's book later on. But we'll see. You know, as always with work and stuff, things are more priority. But writing a book is definitely important for kids, especially. You know, just to get my name out there and help people out. Maybe even do a trivia show and then forward it to put in their subtitles to Don, forward to Don or something.
Well, you know, Omar, I can't believe it's been 5 months. I guarantee you'll be back here sooner than that. And you know, it's the relationships that you have, and more importantly, after the show, people don't appreciate how much people help and support each other. You know, I always promote Omar with everybody that I talk to, and you know, really admire what he does, because the key is over time, how is somebody, right? For one time or two, anybody can fake it, but there is a saying, time will either promote you or expose you. And if you're the same person over time, again, people feel confident and trusting of you, and that's where you get your launch. So with that said, come back Monday, another great show. I'm here every day, Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern time, and want to wish everybody a wonderful day and make this day everything that it could possibly be, especially with the motivation that Omar and Zana have brought today. So with that said, come back whenever you can, and we'll do it again. Thank you so much.
Weekend, guys. Have a good weekend.